So last night, Nina Turner was on MSNBC discussing the Iowa caucuses, and she got in a interaction that was, I mean, for lack of a better word, it was just ridiculous. It was a back and forth over a specific word she used. She called Michael Bloomberg billionaire political entity an oligarch, and chaos ensued.
What he wants to buy. The system allows him to buy himself into the administration, and buy himself into the debates is a problem. But to call him an oligarch, I think, is a misnomer in this environment. And again, you're working for somebody who's part of the 1%. Do you call him an oligarch? No, you don't. You say he's a rich guy. Because just because somebody has a tremendous amount of money doesn't mean that they're not necessarily representing the people. And if you want to use the term elite, you can use whatever kind of term that you want to use. But at the end of the day, the enemy of this country, the enemy of the poor, is not just everybody who happens to be rich. It is a capitalistic system that abuses people. And if you want to speak about that, that's fine. But if you want to name and call people, that's not going to help Bernie if he becomes a nominee, and he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money. If he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money down the road. This is all I'm talking about. I'm not defending rich people. I'm not defending rich people. I know this works on Twitter because that's how you guys operate. When it comes to actual campaign politics, it makes sense to actually describe people for the positions that they have.
Now, people on the left have been clowning this guy on MSNBC, this guest on MSNBC, for this video that's been floating around about him basically doing a prediction of Bernie Sanders' campaign back in, I believe it was like around March 2019, where he said that Bernie Sanders won't be in the top 5 of Iowa, and he's going to drop out by August of 2019. Completely absurd, insane prediction. Now, I'm not even going to get into that because literally anybody you can pick on MSNBC has been dead wrong in their predictions of Bernie Sanders and their analysis of the left movement that he's leading right now. Again, the part that's baffling to me about this entire interaction is in all of this gusto and rage, he just forgets that actual literal dictionary definitions exist regardless of how the words make you feel personally. Let me read you one of the dictionary definitions for the word oligarch, and I'll let you decide if it accurately describes Michael Bloomberg. A very rich business leader with a great deal of political influence. That's exactly what Michael Bloomberg is. He's a billionaire worth, I believe, over $60 billion, owns one of the largest news outlets in the world, as well as many other companies. So by definition, he's a business leader, and with a great deal of political influence. That isn't up for debate either. I mean, he's basically bought the DNC. He's donated hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democratic Party over the years. In this election cycle, the only reason he has a shred of relevancy and credibility, which I don't think he has any credibility, is because he has bought his way into the national discussion. Michael Bloomberg, in the week he gets into the race, drops over $100 million in political ads, carpet bombing the airwaves across the country, trying to just get his name out in front of people nonstop. And because of that, it bought him a boost in the polls. He doesn't actually have any policies or any positions that anybody actually supports. His record as a mayor in New York was abysmal. So there's no substantive reason why people actually like him. It's his name recognition. It's the fact that he bought his name into the discussion and bought all this favorable coverage from the media. There's a very weird thing in the US, especially in mainstream media, where everybody wants to act like the corruption that we have in the United States is by definition less egregious and it's better than the corruption you have in other countries. So he's not the only person who gets this irate and gets this offended whenever you mention a mega donor, billionaire with huge influence in the political process in the United States is an oligarch. They think that word only applies to Russia because they're, the big bad scary Russia and their top of the line corruption that they got going on over there. So they're in an entirely separate category, And to call people in the United States who buy elections and basically bribe politicians with endless money that they have from their business, to call someone like that an oligarch in the US is like a slap in the face, and it's disrespectful to the entire political process. But that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what he is. He's an oligarch in an oligarchy. He's part of a ruling elite class in the United States of big donors to both parties, whether it's millionaires, billionaires, corporations, and they get to decide public policy. Not because they have a monopoly on what would be best for the country, best for the people in the country. It's not because they are so wise and they know what policies the American people want. They have this immense, unmatched influence in politics simply because of the money that they spend, the bribes that they're giving to politicians. So it's corruption, no matter how you want to look at it. It's corruption in Russia when they do it, and it's corruption here in the United States. It's by definition an oligarchy when they do it in Russia. By definition, it's an oligarchy here in the United States. So this was just an entirely silly interaction. He's irate for no reason. The definition perfectly describes Michael Bloomberg, but he's over here throwing a temper tantrum like a child. And then he tries to throw it on Bernie Sanders. Oh, Bernie's part of the 1%. He's a millionaire. So is he an oligarch too? Hold up now, because like I said, there's a literal definition for the word oligarch. Bernie Sanders he doesn't have this sprawling business empire where he's amassed all this wealth and then he takes that to influence politics or to get his to buy legitimacy in the political process. That's not Bernie Sanders at all. The only reason why he has $1 million is because he made $1 million off of a book sale. That's not the same as an oligarch. So this was entirely silly. And as much as I love Nina Turner, and she did bring the fire in this appearance that she had on MSNBC, I don't think she pushed back on this accurately. She could have just stuck with the fact that by definition, Michael Bloomberg is just an oligarch, and that's not debatable. So this was silly. He looks like a dumbass, and rightfully everybody on Twitter is clowning him for this.